What's going on, guys? We are here with today's guest, OK Robot, and you're watching Unscripted. What's up, guys? We are here today. We have Jimmy, we have Eddie, we have Mario of OK Robot. You know, I think this is really, really incredible and funny and awesome because I've known you guys for about, what, 7, 8 years or so? And I just know of you guys. I really don't know you guys, you know. So I mean, there was Chase's Dream Productions with Robert and the V. We threw some shows together. Then we had Fallback when I was with Pendulum of Life Productions. You know, for myself and for the viewers, you know, let's start from the beginning, man. When did this all start? Like, when did OK Robot, you know, become a band?
It started a good we started in October of 2009, and now we're in October of 2018, so it's been almost 10 years. And we spent the entire October of 2009 just writing songs, practicing. I didn't want to play shows with only like 1 or 2 songs or maybe 3 songs because I didn't know it at the time, but I thought that it wasn't something that was approved of. And then like playing for years and years and years, there's so many bands that are doing that now. So I kind of wish that we would have done that sooner. But so we wrote like, I think it was like 9 songs, and we like practiced them for like 9 months. And then it wasn't until the summer of 2010 that we played a backyard party. And then after that we met Robert Gill, and he had us play a birthday party for this girl who was like graduating that was like friends of ours. And then after that, he booked us at the V, and then we just kept playing. When you mentioned the V, I was like, oh, that's a long time ago.
But I mean, if you think about the V, I mean, for the Lower Valley, I mean, those were some of, it was like the VFW of McAllen. I mean, there were shows always constantly going on. Robert Gill, man, we love you, man, for everything that you did. I mean, becoming his friend was really cool because he actually helped me, you know. First it was Wes from Immortal Guardian. Remember when Wes was the vocalist? He helped me start my productions, and then ended up branching off and working with Robert, and we did some incredible shows together and stuff like that. So, Jimmy, what do you do in the band?
I write the majority of the songs, and I play rhythm, and I sing backup. Yeah.
Awesome. Eddie?
I just play the cowbell.
You play the cowbell.
I play the drums. I try to write with Jimmy. Sometimes he sends me some guitar parts, and I do my best to like come up with like, you know, variety of like, you know, type of notes, because, you know, basically drumming is all the same, but in reality you have to play from the soul. So whatever you play, it's how you come out of it, especially when we collaborate. So
that's awesome. I like what you said, out of the soul. Meaning that like your passion, your heart is into your music. You know, it's something that you desire and that you do. I think that's really like for me personally, because I love music. I like all kinds of music, and if I can feel like your life in the music, that's what's actually gonna pull and draw me into it. I don't care if it sounds really good, but if it's you coming from your heart that's in the music, I mean, that can grab an audience attention. You know, you want to make sure that the crowd can feel your life in the music. That's really, really big. Mario, you slap some bass?
I play the bass.
You slap some bass.
Which is also a really cool thing. Our singer plays bass too.
Really?
So does our lead guitarist.
Oh.
So they're all, like, I think everybody plays bass.
Awesome.
He does too.
You play bass, you do it all, right? So you do it all.
But no, like, I guess, I guess when he comes up with like a guitar part, and then it goes, then he just brings it to us, like, and then him and Robert, he's not here today, he spent like hours just trying to like make it sound good or trying to make something of it, and yeah, I know it's like a whole team thing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Our singer writes, I think she's written, I think the like at least the beginning parts on bass, and then she just hands it over to us or me.
That's awesome.
And then we take it from there, so it's like a whole team thing.
Cool, cool, man. I remember when I first met you guys were fresh out of high school, man, young guys. and well, girls as well, your lead vocalist, and just having fun doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you lose the fun in what you're doing, that's probably a sign for you to probably not be doing that anymore. But you hear you guys, what, almost 10 years later, still doing what you love to do. And I think that's awesome. For you guys that know, you guys are a punk band. That is your genre.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what we've been put into.
That's where you've been put into?
College rock.
College rock.
I think now it's more like just, it dabbles into like fast punk music, but if you listen to our album, there's like a lot of slower songs there. Like
it's a variety of genre. It's like a change where it's like you don't just hear one album. Compare like say if you throwing it out there, just like kind of like Linkin Park, how they transitioned. Like it was like really ever popular, and then they transitioned to their not Hybrid Theory or Meteor, but their after their album.
Yeah.
It's like whoa. It's like man, they added a variety. Like we like to change it up.
That's awesome because as you mentioned Linkin Park, I was thinking about Linkin Park. One of their latest albums, not the last one, but the whole entire album was completely different. They had like a punk feel song to it. They had like a hard song and then soft rock. Yeah. So I mean that's awesome that you guys are very diverse in what you create because not everybody's gonna be into punk or into rock or into pop punk. But if you have a variety, you can grab the attention of a lot of people, and I think that's good to be diverse. So here we are, 9 years later. What has changed in the band as far as lineups? Is it still the original core members, or have you had some lineup changes?
Yeah, we had a singer that was there for like the first year of our band, and then it didn't really work out. So we got Emily. I think it was in March of 2011.
Okay.
And she's just pretty much just stayed on for the whole thing. And then we got we had a girl guitar player.
I remember that.
Yeah, up until I want to say 20.
She was supposed to like
15, and then we got Rob after that.
She was with us like at the beginning.
Yeah, but I think when we got Emily, she like kind of pushed me to be more like not such a punk band, but to like kind of like write more into like different kinds of styles. And then she was so young, so she had like very young band influences, which was something that I wasn't used to. But she like kind of brought like that out. And then we got Rob, and Rob he's like quite a bit older like than us, so he would bring very old kind of like music from
early 90s.
Yeah, like just just like grunge and just stuff like that. And so like I think it was once we got Rob, it was just very it was very cool to like we had this kind of weird like ecosystem of just different kinds of like people like that were born in totally different times, like kind of like somehow like coexisting somehow, because I kind of feel like that's very hard. There's like many different kinds of bands where like like they're either all young or they're all old, or like they've been friends for like so long and stuff like that. And so it's so weird for me like to like kind of be in this thing with someone who's very young and someone that's a lot older, and yet they're like my friends now.
Yeah.
Like like I didn't go to school with them or like anything like that, but I feel like I did. And and like that's what's like cool about it.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's important when it comes to writing your music and stuff, is the growth in it, not being, so to speak, comfortable at where you're at. If you're not looking to grow, you're pretty much dying, right? So constantly growing. I think you mentioned Linkin Park. They got a lot of heat because a lot of people were too stuck in the Hybrid Theory and the Meteor era. I mean, that was great stuff, but then you saw them grow as a band. And like I said, if you're constantly growing, it's because you're moving forward and not staying held back. So I think that's really good as growth. You mentioned something about influences. Talk to me a little bit about your all's influences, is where you draw your inspiration from. I'll start with you, Eddie. Let's hear you talk. Come on, man.
I feel out of the three of us, he has the little more of his own kind of influences.
Well,
it's great. Let me get ready for this.
He has that long book.
Actually, yeah. Well, I'm a big inspiration. Everybody probably knows this. Under Oath. Aaron Gillespie, he's like the reason I started playing drums. I remember coming back from high school, I would have like a playlist after high school. I'd have my practice kit set up and I would listen to Under Oath, Angels and Airwaves.
Oh, sweet.
I never heard of Blink-182. I would listen to Taking Back.
I find that very hard to believe.
Angels and Airwaves, the only band I heard. I would listen to Taking Back Sunday as well. You know, so I would have all these variety of genres, even hip hop. I mean, like I would listen to Ja Rule and 50 Cent and DMX, and I wouldn't just only hear the hip hop rap part, but I would hear like the variety of beats because they're all different. I'm like, hey man, we can do this electronic. I can try to do it all the way. So overall, like I'm like a variety of genres. So I would hear like all types of music. And,
that's awesome.
But usually my main influences are pretty much Adam Willard, Aaron Gillespie, and even local bands here. My cousin plays in Mind Over Matter.
Dude, and, you know, I was talking to Jimmy about that Mind Over Matter. I've been listening and following them on Facebook and stuff. I've been meaning to go out and catch them, but what I've been listening to, like, I'm very, very impressed, and that's really, really awesome stuff, man.
Yeah. A lot of people say that me and Rudy almost have a similar style.
That's awesome.
So they get mixed up. So
really?
maybe one day, like, we're actually playing a show with them next week.
Oh, yeah.
So
Next week? When's that?
We're pretty stoked about it.
It's Saturday at Europe.
At the McAllen.
At the Europe?
Yeah.
Man, I haven't been able to attend as much shows as I want to as of late. You know, I did, recently come back to throw in shows and stuff like that, but that's kind of a little bit of a stalemate. Just because I see Kingdom Come Productions being a lot more than just throwing shows. When you think of productions, it's a lot of things. So we do have a current project that we're working on, and that'll be released in the next couple of weeks. Mario, you want to talk to me a little bit about your inspirations and your influences?
I'm actually like in the beginning, in high school, because I've known him for like a long time, but we never I guess for a long time we never spoke of what we listened to. I just assumed if they listen to completely different things than me. And then in high school, before high school, I never listened to like punk rock or any the only band I ever listened to was Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And then he lent me a CD case one time, and I'm like, oh, Blink-182, what's this? And I was like, and he had all 3 CDs, I think. So I listened to all of the Blink. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to play that kind of music. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, and then it's Blink.
They
had a couple Sum 41 CDs in there.
Sum 41 was always
Green Day. And so basically the generic kind of.
Yeah, I think.
But to me, then I was like, oh, this is the shit. It's like, what's this?
Yeah.
I've been listening to Linkin Park this whole time. I didn't know they made other type of rock music. So I was like,
yeah.
It's like, oh crap. And then I think one time we walked to this backyard show, and then they were playing on some trailer thing. And I'm like, oh, that looks like fun. We want to do that. And then that's kind of where we got the idea of we should start a band. And then
that's so cool.
But I think for a long time we just talked about it and never did anything until we actually had time at high school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you?
Me, it's just very. I kind of listen to a lot of everything. Mostly punk rock. I was, what he said, and NoFX, stuff like that. But at the same time, I would hear a lot of everything. Just pop songs. I'm a really big fan of just pop. Lorde, ABBA, and then other stuff that really kind of and then Slipknot, just very just very big sounding, grand, stadium rock bands, and I kind of feel like I've always wanted to do a little bit of both, just to make really big sounding songs, but at the same time, kind of keep a very spirit of punk, where it's fast, it's so loud, it's so dirty, but at the same time, just to see what it would sound like if I wrote I had example that I was telling my girlfriend, that it would be really cool to see what it would be like to do the theme song to Titanic, but just has a big sounding distortion, and to where I'm constantly just hearing songs that are that are so cool, but what would it sound like if it was a punk rock song? And I think that's my overall influence, is that I will hear absolutely anything. Like there's certain you know, like Lord songs, and you know, certain like even like Pitbull songs, like what would that sound
like? Or like the Cure songs.
Yeah, or the Cure songs, like what would that sound like if they would just put a little bit of distortion in it, if they would just do, you know, really huge harmonies and just stuff like that.
For a while we've been playing this like ska version of a Weezer song.
Yeah,
Because we just be like somebody said we need to do a cover, and we're like, well, have you played it like the original version? And we're like, he's like, this is kind of boring. And then like Robert started playing like a ska riff, and then so we made a ska Weezer song.
I always hear any kind of song like, how would that sound like if it was a metal song?
Yeah,
you know, that's how I am. I'll hear a song and I was like, okay, I could scream that, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, same thing with me. I keep bringing up Linkin Park. That was actually the reason why I even became a vocalist back in the day. I don't know if you guys remember me being in that band, Cramp for Anesthesia.
Yeah. Dude, that band was so big. That band was huge. Like, it was on every flyer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we played our first show with you.
Yeah. No.
Was that
the flyer?
Which one?
We played with like Bring a Friend show at the V.
I remember Bring a Friend. That one. Robert always had awesome ideas for shows, man.
Really good ideas.
Like, he always had these super like spontaneous, random, like, you know. There was one we did together, was Bring the House Down. I would have never thought of that, man.
Yeah.
Who thinks of something like that? And Bring a Friend. And then what was it? Fun Fest.
Fun Fest was a big show. I remember I was so stoked to play that show because there was so many bands. Because he used to like put like 20 bands to like 3 different stages and stuff like that. And it was cool, but like that one specifically, I remember it like very vividly because I had met friends, like I think that was the first show, like that I had friends that were in bands, so like I wasn't going to play, or well like solely to play. I was going to play and also see my friends play.
That's awesome.
Which was like the coolest show ever. Like that specific show was so much fun. It was just great.
Yeah, man, those are some really good times and good memories. Could y'all like maybe point out one of your favorite shows up until now, even if it was recent, or like you could just think, like for me personally, when I was in Current Fantasy, one of my favorite shows was we got to open up for Prada, that was like a really big and huge thing. That was probably one of my favorite shows, and there was also a show that we did in Corpus at some storage place, and that one was a lot of fun too. But could you actually like pick maybe one that just was like a super like, you know, awesome show for you guys? I don't know if
I think that one time we went to play in San Antonio. Like, the show itself wasn't that great, but like, since I think it was our first out of like even the Valley show, and
that was Austin.
That was Austin. It's one of those two. Again, I messed up. But
it was
like
super cold.
It was super cold, and it was like, but it was just like the travel there was pretty fun and just.
Yeah, it was our first time being out because we've been wanting, we were still young at the time. We're like, hey, let's play some shows while we're still young. Let's build our reputation. Let's build our momentum, and then once we all have our cars going, we'll start heading out doing outside shows. So we can get our because back then we had limited social media. Now we have everything like Twitter, Instagram. Like MySpace was a thing back then that helped us out. Man. Yeah, like and then Facebook started getting popular, then Instagram, then Twitter, and then Mocospace, and
what is that?
Oh,
what is that? Elaborate that for me. I don't even know what that is.
Actually, I don't know.
It's like a rip-off of, I think, MySpace.
A rip-off of MySpace? What's it called? Mocha Space?
Yeah, it's like Sam's Cola.
Mocha Space. Sam's Cola.
I think it was only like on your mobile phone too, right? Was it?
I don't know. I never had.
When they had the flip phones, it was like
Mocha Space. Check that out, guys. Drop some comments and let me know about that. I'd like to learn more. I try to keep up with as much social media as there is possible, but it looks like every time something tries to rise up, it falls real fast. I think Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are probably the main ones. I feel like Snapchat they kind of lost steam when Instagram and Facebook brought out their story things, so they kind of ripped them off. So
I miss MySpace.
You miss MySpace?
Because I think MySpace was kind of cool because like that's how we found bands. I mean, more how did we find we just randomly put a keyword. Let's put Thursday, and we actually found a band Thursday. And
that band is so good.
Yeah, and then we actually.
That's how I found out about them. I just put Thursday.
Yeah, that band's really good.
Not only that, but Sparta too.
Sparta?
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. I actually was freaking out that Sparta played here a few months back here in the yurt, man. Actually, I was gonna go that night, but ended up staying in. I had tickets and stuff, and I probably should have gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, things always come up and stuff like that. I had this question that came to me right now. Lyrical influence. When you guys write your lyrics, is there anything specific? Is it based off maybe like experiences that you've gone through in life, or a current situation, or is it political, or what is your lyrics based on?
I think on my end, because I don't really write the set lyrics, Emily does, but I kind of I guess I kind of influence what she does write, because I kind of talk a lot, and I kind of write what I'm feeling and stuff like that. I guess it's mostly just nostalgic, really.
Okay.
Just kind of just being young, kind of just questioning as much of your life as you can, and then pretty much kind of just growing above that, there's several songs where it's literally her asking questions, asking why is this, why is this happening, and just stuff like that, and kind of wanting more out of life. It's very stripped down. It's very, I guess, personal, but it's also very relatable, and it's also very nostalgic.
Cool.
Because I kind of I think before I started a band, I got really into the Ataris.
Oh man.
And yeah, and just everything that he just writes, which is very oh, I've felt that.
Yeah.
I felt this and I felt that, so I get that, and so that's what I've always kind of wanted to kind of put in there, and so there's quite a few, or quite a bit of that in
awesome.
there. Yeah.
Awesome. Real quick before we continue, guys, I'd like to throw a shout out to today's sponsor, Caliber Optics LED. They actually do a lot of coverage throughout the state of Texas, here locally as well, for commercial businesses, doing a lot of things for the community in their LED system. Be sure to check them out on Facebook. Thank you, Matt, for everything that you guys do for me. Next thing that I want to talk about is, here we are, it's 2018, the latter end of this year. Where is the band at today? What are the future plans for you guys? I mean, as far as recording a new album, anything that we can look forward to?
We're currently halfway through recording our next album. Our first album was 9 songs, and so we're hoping to get to 10, if not just do 9 more songs.
Okay.
We already have a single out, and we actually just I think that's our last song. So we gave away the last song, and so we're kind of just working our way up.
Okay.
And so right now we have all the drums done, we have all the guitars done, we're kind of just waiting on vocals now.
Okay.
And then once that happens, it's because we were busy the past few months, we did a Cure tribute thing, so we had to literally learn new songs and then rewrite them to how we can play them easier, and then Emily had to learn lyrics.
Oh wow.
So she couldn't write lyrics because she was too busy learning lyrics. And so now, I think I got a call 2 days ago where the studio was like, "Hey, it's cool. We can do it now."
Okay.
So hopefully we can finish that in the next couple weeks.
Awesome. And who are you guys recording with?
It's Noonday Studios in Harlingen. It's actually not even far from here. Larry Lozano. He used to be in. I forgot his name, or I forgot his band name. But right now he's in Until My End. Yeah, and he does incredible work. He does it very raw. He does everything live, drums and
awesome.
vocals. He really pushes you too. He's very strict on time. He's not afraid to be very that sounds great, but it could be better, kind of thing, which is something that I need, because I'm so stuck in it has to be this way, and then he will be that sounds great, but it could be better than what you're thinking, and so that's so refreshing. And then he really kind of pushes us, especially our singer. He will not just do, because we've recorded with quite a few like people, and it was one of the first times that he pushed our singer Emily to kind of like record multiple tracks, where she would record 2 tracks of her main vocal, and then 4 of each harmony.
Oh wow!
So you're hearing like 15 tracks of just one vocal thing, and it sounds so much fuller and it sounds so much greater. And like every time she like does that, she really kind of like brings it. And then by like the very end, she's just like completely done, and she will not sing again until we record again. But she does so much work at that time, and it's insane because I honestly feel like she does the most work when she's there. She will just do absolutely everything. We'll go and we'll do, you know, 2 like layers of bass, 2 layers of guitar, you know, lead is just 1.
Hey, what about me?
And then he does 1 layer of like drums. And then that's it. We're like done. We're cool. She'll go and they'll be like, all right, sing. She'll sing. All right, sing it again and again. All right, now sing it higher, 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 lower, 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 and it's just absolutely.
Didn't you make her do like cardio?
Yeah, stayed up until 2 in the morning, and they were trying to get her to do a falsetto, like just like a simple ooh, and she couldn't do it because it was coming out too, I guess, too kind of like she was, you know, still pretty good, but he like kind of wanted it more tired. So he made her do push-ups and made her do cardio, and then she like ran outside, and then she came back in. She just gave this like really tired ooh finally, and it was just.
And that's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, it was exactly what he wanted.
Vocal sanity.
Vocal sanity.
It was great. Yeah.
Okay, so I have you on Facebook, and I've been wanting to know what this means, and there's a time for this question to be asked now.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Tell me what bot life is.
Oh my God.
Yes, dude. I want to hear that, dude, because I always see you on Facebook. It's like hashtag bot life, and I'm like, what is bot life? I probably could have Googled it, but I really hear what.
No, it's actually not even Googleable. I actually.
Have you trademarked it yet?
No, I haven't. But
I should make money.
Make money off of it.
Dude, you can trademark that. You can make a T-shirt. You can do a lot of things.
I've already made a T-shirt.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to know what bot life means. Bot life.
Go to TeePublic. OK Robot. There's 2 different versions of that bot life shirt. But yeah, it's basically something that at first I kind of was just doing it as like a joke, and then because I tend to kind of challenge myself with unimportant things. Like I don't know if anyone follows me on Facebook, but every day now I do this like am I right thing every day now. I don't need to do it, but I do it, and if I miss a day, I feel like I missed a day working out. And so that's how I feel about that whole phrase. It's basically just like every day that I'm, you know, like playing stuff, even when I'm not, you know, like playing, even when I'm not, you know, like kind of like singing, like writing, I'm still in that mindset that I'm doing it every day, even when I'm not doing it, because like I'm not famous, I'm not touring, I'm not doing this and that, but I have that lifestyle that I'm, you know, like, you know, Saturday or, you know, Sunday, Friday, I will be like doing that, or, you know, like now I'm, you know, like living it now, like, and so that's pretty much all it is. I never miss a day or like any post or anything like that where I don't put that, because I feel like if I don't, then I'm not living it. And that's, at first it was just some dumb joke. Now it's just like I have to do it, or else it feels like I'm not being part of my band, even when I'm not doing it. It's to me, I guess it's the equivalent of, you know, like if people wear, you know, like a like what's it called, a cross. You know, like we're not very religious people all the time, so we kind of like carry that with us to remind us, like, you know, like what we're doing.
Right.
And that's what I do to remind me, like what I'm doing, even when I'm not, you know.
So that's what bot life is.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Or you can just go on dictionary.com and it'll say bot lives, life of the bot. Basically backward. I just use it because it's trendy. Like it caught on. I got a tattoo of bot life right now.
No, you didn't.
And this is just your guys' thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody else has this.
Not that we know of.
I think you just Google it.
I've actually Googled the hashtag for some reason. There's something about shoes also, but I haven't been able to figure out what it has to do with shoes. But
maybe it's different languages.
yeah, it probably is. But yeah, it's just me and shoes. Yeah.
You, bot life, and then bot life, something with shoes.
Yeah, something with shoes.
That doesn't even feel like it goes together, man.
No, it doesn't.
But I'm very grateful that I got to ask you this question in person,
Yeah,
because I've been seeing it. You haven't been doing it that long, right?
No, I've been doing it for a long time.
Really? How come I'm barely noticing it?
No, like you can go back as far as you can. It's gonna go back years.
Really?
Yeah, like
I guess
many
probably
years.
caught on.
Well, I mean, I started seeing this, I guess maybe like 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years? That sounds about
A
right.
year?
No, it's longer than that. Yeah.
I guess because hashtags weren't popular back then.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
hashtags are starting to be a real thing now, but yeah, I saw it and I always wondered, I was like, what is he talking about?
I started doing it when hashtags became popular.
You know what still gets me with people, sorry to cut you off, but you know what gets me with people with hashtags? Is when they don't put spaces between their hashtags.
Oh, it just looks like a giant.
And I'm just
mess
like,
of
it's a
hashtags.
giant hashtag, you need to space it out.
Yeah.
I wish
when they put a whole sentence too.
Like hashtag don't care.
You know what I do sometimes, like especially if I know the person like pretty well, I'm like, hey, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but like you need to put a space between your hashtags so that they can work, because only the first one will work. But yeah, I don't know what I came out, but
I tried hashtag corn on a cob.
corn on the cob, hashtag corn on the cob.
Sentences are never gonna trend.
Well, it can't be that long. It has to be just
exactly.
a few words.
Hashtag corn, hashtag on a cob. I don't know.
Awesome, man. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? I mean, I feel like we covered a lot of good bases. You know, from when you guys started, a little bit in between, your influences.
No, we just want all the bands that we play with, you know, keep hustling.
Yeah.
You know, it's been almost like Jimmy said, it's going to be a 10-year anniversary of us playing
Next October.
That's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, no, we just, you know, we just like to get along with everybody, and there's really good talent down here in the valley.
There's a lot of good talent out there.
Yeah.
Really,
It's like, I think just the scene in general. I think since we've been at least around longer than most of the bands, like every so often, like there seems to be like a shift in the scene where it becomes a little bit different. I think when we started, it was like the hardcore scene. So I remember just playing shows with nothing but hardcore bands.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
so we're like the only band just playing like happy pop music. So we fell out of pace, but like I guess that just helped us appreciate more. Just like that variety is good. And
I think we kind of latch on to certain bands in that scene that kind of help us get through the next transitional like few years. Like I remember at that time we really latched into like the Plea and the early Release because they sounded similar to us.
Yeah.
So we would try so hard to play the same shows as
That's
them.
awesome.
Yeah, and they were so great. They were amazing. And then after that, it got more indie, so we had to like kind of latch onto like different bands that sounded a little bit like us at that time. And then it just kept on going, where we just had to keep kind of like rolling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's really hard when it transitions into something different, and to like kind of like stick with it. It's like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. What are y'all's favorite local bands that y'all like really enjoy watching or playing with?
I love Mind Over Matter currently. I love Fantastico. Laserhog is cool. They're completely different. And I think Filthy Rabbit.
Okay. Is there still around?
They're still technically around. They just take like they're kind of just like a weekend fun band.
Okay, I see.
Where like if I said, hey, like, do you want to play a show next week? They'll be like, oh yeah, sure, and then they'll go and they'll play. they'll never do it again, and then or they'll play several weeks out of the like month, and then they'll never do it again. And I think that's just how they prefer it.
I remember Filthy Rabbit. I built them a few times too back in the day. So yeah, good stuff, man. I think that's all I got for today. I really, really enjoyed this at y'all's time and stuff like that. Guys, be sure to follow them on Facebook, on all their social media. That Bot Live, get a hold of that. You have a website, right, for them to check out, for them to go to get a t-shirt? Because I actually want a t-shirt. I'm not even going to lie.
Oh, yeah. It's TeePublic, and then just tpublic.com/OKRobot66, I think. Or just go to tpublic.com, type in OKRobot, and there's a bunch of merch that I've been working on. Awesome. And let me know if it comes out good, because that's the only reason why I'm not promoting it. Because I'm not even sure.
Not even sure.
We're still testing though.
Yeah, we're still testing if they're going to come out good. Yeah.
I will check it out and everything. I thank you guys so much, guys. So guys, there you have it. Today's guest, OK Robot. We thank you so much. This is Unscripted.